Hi, well, we're carrying on with our Black History conversations, and this is to recognise not only this great book, Slaves and Highlanders, which David Alston's been telling us about, and we've got a recording for that, so that you can go back to, but also because it's Black History Month. So, oops, click. This is just to prove that I did buy it myself. I talked about the fact it was an ebook. But this book is dedicated to all those from beyond our boundaries, whose voices give us the gift to see ourselves as others see us. I think that's one of the great things about our conversations, is that we're able to involve people from different places with different understandings, and with authors who help us to get the voices of those disadvantaged, the enslaved, is and just brilliant. So thank you ever so much again, David, for that. Right, it's Black British History Month, right? It's normally Black History Month, but David Olusoga's decided that it should be renamed Black British History Month. So we'll explore what Black British History Month looks like. And I think it's a really good point, because Black History Month came from the States. And so often over the years, we've looked at stories from the States, Black history. Well, Black history in the States is a very different story to British Black history, equally important, relevant, obviously, and with the experience that we've had this year to follow up with the Black Lives Matter campaigns after George Floyd's death, it's been a very different year. So this was the Guardian article, actually. I haven't given them credit. Black History Month launched in the UK with a Proud to Be campaign. Anyway, I have to learn about what's going on in the UK. I don't fall upon it. Interesting to see that the statue of Wales' first black head teacher, Betty Campbell, was unveiled in Cardiff on Wednesday. I've never known a person who's had a statue done of them before, but Betty Campbell was a wonderful person, and I know, Chris, you're thinking of her too. She was just great, and isn't the statue beautiful? It's just beautiful. Apparently, local authorities are raising a Pan-African flag to mark the start of a series of events for October across Britain. I'm really interested to be learning more about that as the month goes on. And in Wales, St Fagans National Museum has got a display of the stories of the Windrush families. So that was a project that was done by Race Council Cymru, and it's great that the display is now there at St Fagans National History Museum, and I hope that that display will also be made shareable for those of us who aren't there. And because I'm a bit of a groupie of David Olusoga, I looked back to see what I could manage to see of his films over here, and found Britain's Forgotten Slave Owners, and that was an interesting one. Although, you know, it's 2015, but we're building such a collection of really brilliant resources. In Scotland, I understand from The Guardian that the Coalition for Racial Equality and Rights has coordinated Scotland's Black History Month programme again, and is hosting talks, workshops, exhibitions and concerts, and every weekend leading walking tours in Glasgow, and I'm sure there's other things going on. I'm not sure, Christine, if you want to tell us about other things that are going on in Glasgow for Black History Month.
Sure. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of events arranged through CRARE. I can share the link in the chat. And also at the University of Glasgow, we have a lecture by Professor Olibet Oteli from Bristol University. And so we're going to be talking hopefully with her about reparative justice and what Glasgow's been doing. And we've got before that, we've got some graduate students from Brazil, from Ghana and from Glasgow who are presenting some different papers. So I can send some links for those events and for the Black History Month programme. And I'm going to give a presentation next week, but it's very similar to the presentation I gave to you guys about children. So
Great.
but there's
Great.
a lot of other things going on. Yeah, I'll share some links in the chat. It would be nice to see.
That would be great. And I think one of the great things with Zoom is that all these recordings are being posted, but it's often a case of finding out where they're posted. And I know you had a great conference earlier in the summer, didn't you, Christine? And I'm yet to find out where those sessions were posted, but I'm sure Richard's told me, but I need to find again. Okay, lovely. Right, so back to the plot. Oh, here we go again. Right, so that was Scotland. Okay, Northern Ireland. This is all I could find, but at least it looks good. They're having a Nigerian independence concert because I was hoping Professor Satie would have been with us because Nigerian Independence Day is today, as well as the beginning of Black History Month. Now, David's put us in touch with some folks in Northern Ireland, so hopefully we'll be able to get an Irish representation in our sessions. In England, according to The Guardian, the Imperial War Museum is featuring inspiring stories of Black men and women during the Second World War. So it's nice that we've got that representation. So Billy Strachan sold his bicycle and saxophone to pay for a voyage to the UK, and Seth Anthony, who became the first Black African-born soldier to become an officer, and also features stories of Thomas Andy, seaman from Nigeria, and Lillian Bader, a Liverpudlian, who became one of the first women to qualify as an RAF instrument repairer. Right, so that's interesting, and there's no doubt loads of other stuff going on in England, so you need to get on the Black History Month magazine website. They've sent 500 resource packs to UK schools. Now that's interesting, John. You're asking about how we're going to get things into the curriculum, key moments of Black history. So it'd be really interesting to know what they've chosen to put in those packs to send to schools with the lesson plans. And they've got a social media campaign as well that perhaps we can get into. So, and a quote from her. So they wanted to have a theme celebrating being Black or brown, and to inspire and share the pride people have in their heritage and culture in their own way and in their own words. So that's a great resource. They also say that there's other events this weekend, including a concert on Friday in Bright today, Rock Against Racism, good old Brighton. And the Afro Manifesto exhibition in Leicester launches on Saturday. So this is just a snapshot of some things that are going on. And Bernardine Dean Evaristo, the first Black British author to win the Booker Prize, that's at South Bank Centre. So I'm sure all those things will be recorded. Now this is another promotion that I came across, a global mental health conference, and you've got time to take an interest in this because it's not till the 27th of October, so that's an interesting one. What I'd like to be able to do is to provide information about things that are coming up to watch and also recordings of things. Yeah, the BBC got on the case. BT Sports, no, not the BBC, sorry, BT Sport. And they've got footballers have a voice and a platform, was the Guardian article. And this link, which I'll try and send to you in some way, but the PowerPoint's too big to send out on email, so I have to work out how to do it. And that's a really interesting article from The Guardian. Well, I've been reading The Guardian. Now, the North Wales Jamaica Society, Caroline's here. We've got an open meeting tomorrow. We're going to tell more about the Penance Project and explain that we're going to have a Black History Month book club. So that's going to be on Wednesday mornings. So if you fancy joining that, we will focus for the 5 weeks of October on Black history books that focus on Wales. We'll be inviting some of the authors to join us, but also encouraging people to read and review the books. So it's an idea that we've had for a long time, and now we're trying to make it into a reality. Now, I came across this. This isn't Black History Month, but it's about Black history. The Native American National Council will offer an amnesty to the estimated 240 million illegal white immigrants living in the United States. What a headline. Absolutely brilliant. I think it goes back a few years, but it's well worth thinking about again. I think someone else said, you know, looking at things from another perspective, turning things on their head. This is really brilliant and very interesting. And I have to say, some of the programs being made by First Nations people here in Australia often have a good degree of humour in, but a strong message behind it. And this council offer is really really good. I like the quote which says, "They all need to be deported back to Europe," John Dakota from the True Americans said, because they came here illegally, and yes, they brought disease and alcoholism and stole everything we have because they were too lazy to improve and develop their own countries. I think we need to be listening to First Nations peoples. Sometimes when we talk about Black history, we're looking at the African people who were taken to be enslaved in the Caribbean and the States, but we need to think more widely. Okay, so I'm promoting something here from the University of Glasgow, but I couldn't find the date. I think this is what I was talking about before, Christine.
Yes, I'm sorry, no, that wasn't recorded. Some of the speakers were a bit uncomfortable with the recording, just given how things are in the UK right now. So I don't have a recording of that, but I can like help people out with access to publications from that, and there's a lot of like new work coming out. Chantel George though works at the University of Glasgow with me, not in London. She's originally from London, but now she's at the University of Glasgow. But yeah, if people are interested in the topic of liberated Africans, then yeah, just get in touch with me.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I'm certainly in touch with you, and I'd like to know more, because I think that we know there are new studies and studies about abolition, liberation and survival change our understanding. How do they change our understanding of slavery and its legacies? So this is getting into another area for discussion. So thanks very much for explaining that, Christine. I try to keep up with things. And this as well is that in learning about Black history, I thought that's a theme we ought to be having, about the runaways. And this is the work that you're doing, isn't it? And you've got a website all to yourself to talk about this.
Yeah, so this site was, the database was developed by Stephen Mullen, who wrote It Was Nae Us, and Nelson Mundell, who's one of my PhD students, and Simon Newman, who's now left Glasgow for the States. And we're still kind of working through this database and sort of working through different sort of research on it. And my students look at this every year in their master's course. And the database also probably isn't complete. There's probably more advertisements to be found, and so therefore like more of these sort of very sort of little bits of biographies of Black people living in 18th century Britain.
All right, well, thank you very much for that. And again, it's showing there is so much in the way of resources, but where are they all? They're difficult to find. So with Unlocking Black History, we're hoping to have a website. Well, we've got the website already, but we're hoping to actually organise it in a useful way so that teachers, people in education can find information they need, but also feel supported as they research for themselves. Right, I'm just checking the, oh, right, thank you. That's a lovely link to Black History Month Scotland, Christine, that's great. Okay, it was good to see Lisa and Anita. It's oh great, you've put the information about your event too. That's fine. I'm just wondering, Simon, if you can send me the chat comments and then I can send them out. I'll try and do a bit of a write-up. Okay, so thanks very much indeed, everybody, again. And if we stop the recording, we'll just wrap things up.